Alright, yeah, how's it going, guys? And welcome into a very special Arena episode. So, for those who don't know, Dominaria just got released on Arena, and with it became the in-game currency purchasing. So, I did promise that I would do something like this, and we're going to be doing a pack opening. I'm not sure if this is going to be a two-parter, because, as you can see, I have a lot of gems. I don't know how long this video is going to actually be, so if it's reasonably long, because I do kind of want to go through not necessarily just the rares and the mythics, I just want to talk about jank potential for certain cards and things like that, but it might take a little while, so maybe this is a two-parter. But before I get into opening any packs, I just want to thank all of you guys. So this would not have been possible without your support. Anybody who has donated on Twitch, all of the patrons as well, thank you to every single one of you. You are shaping this channel in the best way possible, hopefully. So, yeah, any future content is completely down to you. You know who you are, and thank you. Thank you so much for helping out the channel. Alright, so let's get into buying some packs, shall we? As you can see, I have no packs to open. That's going to change pretty quickly. Let's go get some packs, shall we? So I've already thought out how I want to do this. So with 60,000 gems, which I don't want to melt your brain by telling you how much that is in real world money, so I won't. Yeah, we're going to buy 90 packs of Dominaria since it is the newest set, and I'd like to probably do this for the newest sets coming out in the future as well, open up some packs. So we're going to open up 90 packs of Dominaria, at least in this video, and we're going to open up 45 of every of the others. So we have been grinding out these packs for the past couple of weeks as well, so hopefully this won't be too much of a difference, but I'm hoping that we should have a pretty decent collection. Where's my vault at the moment? My vault's at 87%, so I'm not going to open this until right at the end of the video, because I want to see how far 90 packs goes, because this is also an experiment for me and for, I suppose, you guys as well, to see where your money goes, and if it goes far enough, can I build the deck that I want to at the end of this. I would hope that after 90 packs, I should be able to build any deck that I want, give or take maybe a few mythics or rares, because I could get kind of unlucky with maybe the amount of wildcards, or maybe the mythics that are in the packs that are not wildcards, maybe those will just not be that great. That's kind of RNG, and you kind of get that, you know, when you open up any kind of booster box or anything like that. So anyway, without further ado, we're going to have 90 packs of Dominaria. This comes with at least 3 mythic rare wildcards and 6 rare wildcards. I believe that actually is the pity timer. I believe that's what they're talking about, and the pity timer is essentially if you haven't opened up a mythic after X amount of time, it will just give you one. So this is the bare minimum amount of wildcards that we can possibly get. It also comes with 2 copies of Firesong and Sunspeaker as well, which are probably going to be a pretty sweet brawl card. And I hear that you can't actually open these in packs, you've got to use wildcards on them, so I actually get 2 of them just by purchasing this pack. So sure you want to purchase this one? Yeah, I guess I will. Alright, so that's 90 packs there. Let's go over to Rick's. Let's go get some of those packs. Let's go Ixalan. Get 45 of those. Hour of Devastation. And Armenket. And that'll actually leave me with 6,000 gems. And that's probably going to go towards drafts and things like that. That should probably keep me going for months, I would imagine. So hopefully that's going to be the case. Without further ado, though, let's go over. Can I go over to Dominaria, please? There we go. So I'm going to open these not as a open times 10 kind of thing, because I kind of want to go through maybe the uncommons and the commons if they're relevant. I'm not going to scam across them completely every time, and as we go through, of course, there'll be duplicates, so I'll be less inclined to stop on things. But anyway, are you ready, guys? Let's go. First pack. What have we got? The game crashed. Yay! Alright, okay, so let's see. I don't think any of the commons are anything to get crazy about. I suppose we could make an aura and equipment deck with Danithia. But I think you need SRAM before you even bother with that kind of strategy, to be honest. So We're going to have to wait until Kaladesh and either evolve for that. I didn't even realise Opt was in this set. I don't really know too much about Dominaria. I kind of kept blind to it, to be perfectly honest, so we'll see what we get. Rite of Belzenlock. So, 4 mana Saga. Chapters 1 and 2 creates a 0/1 Cleric token, and then the third creates a 6/6 Black Demon token with Flying Trample. And at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice another creature. You can't. If you can't, it deals 6 damage. I think that is reasonably unplayable. Yes, I would go with that. That's a shame. Oh, don't you dare. I guess I have to keep clicking the Dominaria pack at the bottom. Okay, return target permanent from your graveyard to your hand. Maybe a good combo card. Syncopate's pretty solid for control. A rare is a decent wild card, so that's whatever I want it to be. I'm thinking that the rare wild cards are going to go on the dual lands because I'm tired of having terrible mana, so I'm going to be spending all of my rare wild cards on that. I should note as well, this is my current pool of wild cards, so we'll see what that looks like at the end. I don't think I've unlocked too many of those recently, and next pack looks like it's going to open the vault for us. I'll save the vault until afterwards as well. Blink of an Eye, if it was kicked, meh. Ice Manipulator, solid draft card as well. Most people will pick that one. And let's see. Evra Halikion Witness. Exchange life totals with it. Ooh. Ooh. So, maybe being on 20 life, exchange it, make it a 20/20 swing in, and then swap it back over. And then you got 40 life. You could do some fun things with that. I don't know what I would do with it, but it has jank potential, definitely. Alright, so we got our first vault progress for the day. Another Danithia and unplayable. Spend this only to cast instant and sorceries. Yeah. Rare is going to be Steel Leaf Champion. Now I do want to play a set of these. Mono Green Stompy needs this. And you can get this down as soon as turn 2 if you've got a playset of Llanowar Elves as well. So a turn 2 5/4 that can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less is really solid, and it can probably just win you the game on the spot. This is going to be one of those things that it demands an answer on turn 2, otherwise your opponent might just lose. So it's going to be pretty sweet. Is this one of those sacrifice dudes? It is. If it wasn't kicked, sacrifice it. So it's a 4 mana 5/3 trample haste. So similar to the I can't remember what they're called now. They've got a lot of like 6/1 trample haste that die at the end if they don't die in combat. But yeah, it's like a 5 mana 5/3, sorry, if you want to keep it. It's interesting. What do we have now? Triumph of Gerard. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature control with the greatest power. You do that twice, and then target creature you control with the greatest power gains flying, first strike, and lifelink. Ooh. Interesting. So that's probably going to be a pretty good white version of Hadana's Climb kind of thing. That's going to be interesting. One-time use, of course, but Deep Freeze, decent draft card. And another Rite of Belzenlock. Yeah. Whatever. Alright. Let's try push through a little bit quicker. I think Divination, meh. Run a Disciple of Gix. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile a historic card from your graveyard. You may cast non-land cards exiled with Rona. So you need Panharmonicon for this. So you can get double triggers. I don't know if there's any ways of triggering that again. Although, of course, you can have... there is the 4 and tap to exile the top card of your library. So if you can set up the top card, then you can definitely get somewhat decent with this. Certainly a pretty interesting, janky build-around card I'm well up for trying out. And Traxos. Traxos is the best way to get a turn 5 Galter, so I'm very happy to see this, actually. And he can do some fun stuff. Casting historic spells is not difficult at all. So historic spells are legendaries, artifacts, sagas, and they're pretty easy to come by, to be honest. So yeah, you can see this guy probably stomping through quite a lot. Alright, gotta pick up the pace a little bit. Uncommon wild card, pretty decent. Shivan Fire, yeah. Not enough elves for this dude, or dudette. But, you know, you can probably still do some fun stuff with her. I've seen a pretty decent in draft, but we'll see. Hope for some more elves in maybe the core set that comes out after this. Sanctum Spirit. Discard a historic card. It becomes indestructible. Meh. Flame of Kel. Discard your hand, draw 2 cards. I saw a modern version of this card for goblins. It was pretty sweet. Because you're usually empty-handed by the time you want to cast it. And then that third part of it with goblins just do some disgusting stuff. Our rare is going to be Antiquities of War. I love this card. So for the first 2 chapters, you look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact card from among them and put it into your hand. Then put the rest on the bottom. However, on the 3rd chapter, all of your artifacts become artifact creatures with power and toughness 5/5. So essentially it's Tezzeret's Ultimate, but all in one go. I really think that this is probably going to see a lot of play in proper standard without Kaladesh and Aether Revolt. I'm not quite sure on that one, but yeah, you kind of want all of the implements and things like that to make that work. Anyway. After that, whenever you cast an historic spell, pay 1 black. If you do, return it from your graveyard to your hand. It's very expensive. Decent draft card, I would say. Also, I think we've passed up Wizard's Lightning a few times. This is Lightning Bolt if you've got a wizard, and there's a lot of cheap wizards. So I think blue-red wizards is probably going to be a thing. As well as maybe red auras splashing some other colour as well, because there is a Valduk. I think he's in uncommon. Hopefully we get to see him pretty soon. Josu Vess, Lich Knight. 4 mana 4/5 with Menace. However, if you kick it for 5 and a black, when it enters the battlefield, you create 8 2/2 black zombie knight creature tokens with Menace. This dude, or dudette, I think it's a dude, demands an answer right off the bat. Like, you need a board wipe, otherwise you're probably just done. If you've managed to kick it, and I think 4 mana 4/5 with Menace is a reasonable card as it stands. And if you're running maybe a playset of them, you probably want to run a few of them at 4 anyway, so yeah, pretty decent. Like the card. Garner the Blood Flame. Flash. When it enters the battlefield, return to your hand all creatures in your graveyard that were put from anywhere this turn. Other creatures control have haste. Well, the second ability, I'd rather run Samet over it. The first ability seems a little bit too conditional for my liking. It's literally to blank a board wipe and Settle the Wreckage is played a lot in Arena right now, so it doesn't blank that one. It really, until Fumigate's in Kaladesh into Arena, this probably won't see any play, and I won't play it. Rare is another Evra, fair enough. We've got some Llanowar Envoys. I really don't like this card. You lose 1 mana, however you get to filter your 2 mana into 1 mana of any colour. Don't like it. Not at all. But maybe it'll have some place in my heart. Llanowar Elves certainly will. Memorial to Folly. So this is a new cycle of tapped mono coloured lands. Not sure how good this one is. Let's see. Return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. Probably not great. Maybe if you're building around a single creature, then maybe. But a rare is Naban, Dean of Iteration. Now I know you are good. 2 mana for a 2/1. If a wizard entering the battlefield under your control causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, word soup, that ability triggers an additional time. So he's essentially Wizard Panharmonicon. I'm very into this. Let's go Prospector. Don't think it's good in Standard, but in Modern there's actually a new deck based around this and Fecundity, which is really sweet. I'd love to play that deck sometime. How are we on Vault Progress? 24%. We need to pick up the pace. Champion of Flame. So there's another red aura dude. Might make red auras at some point. Who knows? Rat Colony. Definitely making a Rat Colony deck. So for those that don't know how Rat Colony works in Arena, if you've got 4 copies in your collection, you can essentially have as many copies as you want. So you can have a 30 card Rat Colony deck if you like. Or 60 card, but 30 of them are Rat Colonies. Probably want to build a little bit more carefully around it. Like there's Umezawa dude who gives creatures with toughness 1 or less. Creatures with 1 toughness unblockable, so all of your Rat Colonies can be like 6/1s and be completely unblockable. It's pretty sweet. Anyway, our rare. Narumeha, Master Wizard, 4 mana for a 3/3 with Flash. When enters the battlefield, copy instant or sorcery spell you control. Choose new targets for the copy. Other wizards you control get +1/+1. So there is an infinite combo with Narumeha in Standard. If you have her out and you have something like Ether Flux Reservoir, so the amount of times you cast a spell gains your life, essentially. If you have her out and you flicker her using one of the exile and cast for free spells, essentially you can, on resolution, recast that bounce spell, so you can bounce her infinitely, essentially. And as long as you've got the Ether Flux Reservoir out, you can gain infinite life and just win on the spot. It's pretty sweet. Hopefully I get to play around that soon. Just need Kaladesh! Alright, whenever you cast an historic spell, target player puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into graveyard. Mill? Is that back? Maybe. Rare is going to be Black Blade Reforged. I have seen a few drafts with this card and it is disgustingly good. So essentially you don't really even need legendary creatures to make it good, because if you're in draft, you're probably going to be top decking sooner or later, and all of your draft chaff can just have a equip 7 and it gets +7/+7, which makes any card that you play off of it a really big threat. Is this Standard playable? I'm not sure. Maybe if you were playing it around something like a Zetalpa or something like that to fly over the top and just do disgusting double strike damage, you could maybe build around that, I suppose. And of course red does have the aura and artifact archetype now, so who knows, we might see that one in action. Dark Bargain. Top 3 cards of your library, put 2 of them into your hand, the other into your graveyard, deals 2 damage. I don't know about that one. Yeah, Lana Orals, nice to see. But yeah, let's go. I really do need to pick up the pace. I'm going very slowly on this one. A pinger for wizards. Yep, that's correct. Good to know. Arcane Kitty. And our rare is the Mirari Conjecture. I have never seen this card before. 5 mana. First chapter, return target instant card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay. Return target sorcery from your graveyard to your hand. Chapter 3, until the end of turn, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, copy it. You may choose new targets. Is this better than running just the doubled flip land thing? Primal Amulet. That's the one. Yeah. Is it worth doing that? I don't know. It's 5 mana. It's quite expensive. Could maybe see something fun with it, I suppose. With the right setup. Slimefoot the Stowaway. Yes, we will be making Saprolings. That will absolutely happen. Knight of Grace is pretty sweet as well. Against some control decks as well, if you know they're running black. Certainly in a sideboard you might want that if you're a creature-focused matchup. And a rare wildcard, nice. How are we doing on wildcards? We're at 2 mythics, 2 rares, 7 uncommons, 8 commons, and we're about 40% through. I'm going to pick up the pace on these. Probably just Avad, pumping up legendaries, sure, legendary tribal. Oath of Teferi, really good. I'm hoping to see a playset of Teferis and at least 2 or 3 Oath of Teferis by the end of this. That's the hope. Probably not going to happen, but I can do that in wildcards anyway, so... Moving on. Another Slimefoot, very nice. Settle the score, pretty good in Super Friend Control. We'll see if we can make that happen. And Sylvan Awakening as well. Really do want to build a deck around this, but it cannot be stressed enough how much this card folds to settle the wreckage. So if your opponent's playing white, never cast this if you plan on attacking with them. Until the end of your turn, all lands you control become 2/2 elemental creature tokens with reach, indestructible, and haste. They're still lands. So if you've been playing a ramp deck, you're probably up to maybe about 10 to 15 lands. Those swinging in for 2 points each, yeah, can win on the spot. I think this is like the new standard version of Ancient Stirrings, isn't it? Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Oh no, this is like Green Ponder. You may reveal a creature land from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom. It's kind of a bit of both, I guess. Anyway, moving on. Wild cards, very nice. Search your library for 2 cards. Put 1 into your hand, the other into your graveyard. Okay, maybe a good brawl card for Reanimator. Joda, maybe a good brawl card. I don't know if there's a reason to play him in Standard. Yeah, I'm not sure on that one. Paying 5, 1 of each colour, all of Wooburg. I don't know if there's a card that you really care to do that for, but in Brawl, probably want to just like go high converted mana cost tribal with Joda. He'd be pretty fun. Wizard's Retort. It's a counterspell reprinted for Wizards. Very nice. Solid little card for control. Voltaic Servant. Is there any use to you? I don't think so. No. Mythic Rare. Nice. Wonderful. Always nice to see. More wildcards. Fungal Plots. Absolute god tier draft card right there. Being able to turn all of your creatures back into more creatures. And being able to sacrifice them to gain life and draw cards. Solid stuff. Everything else seems a bit meh. Our rare is Lich's Mastery. You know I'm going to be building a deck around that. You know it. You know it, baby. Alright. Urgros the Empty One. Ooh, you look sweet. 6 mana for a 4/3. You're losing me. Flying, okay. When it deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card at random. If the player can't, you draw a card. It's too expensive, I think. I probably won't play it. Forebearer's Blade. The creature gets +3/+0 Vigilance and Trample, and if it dies, you attach it to another creature. Reasonable, I guess. Doesn't do anything with exile. Vicious Offering is also really nice as well. It's probably going to see a few Saproling decks as well that play this. To sacrifice a creature and essentially have -5/-5 to take out any gods is going to be really good. So I think Moment of Craving is going to go out of favour with this one unless you really need the life gain for Vicious Offering. Because it just has... It's essentially Moment of Craving with upside. And the upside's a little bit better than the 2 life that it usually gives. 69 packs, let's keep going. I'm actually probably just going to go through the rares at this point. Other than Power Stone Shard, I need a playset of those, give me them. We got Woodland Cemetery, very nice, you're going to save me some time. Okay. The Weatherlight, very nice. Whenever, I think this is, look at top 5, reveal a historic card from among them and put it into your hand, so pretty nice fixing. Let's see. Nice build around card though. I like it. Wizard's Lightning, Weight of Memory, good in draft. Naban, another one of those, very nice. Nothing playable here. This probably won't see much use, although... Does Red Deck Wins maybe want it? Probably not. It's a bit expensive to do anything on 6. Like, it's nice to get rid of, like, the Search for Escanter or anything like that, but I think 6 mana is a bit too much for most decks. Kazarov Sengia Pureblood, 7 mana for a 4/4. You've lost me already. Whenever a creature an opponent controls is dealt damage, put a counter on it. 4 mana to shock a creature. Yeah, not going to happen. Moving on. Not unless you can cheat him out. Memorial to Unity. Top 5 cards of your library, reveal a creature from among them and put it into your hand. Sure, I suppose that's okay. Unwind, count on a creature spell, and tap up to 3 lands. Maybe negate will leave then, if that's going to be a thing. It's a little bit more expensive, of course, but it's effectively free if you have the 3 lands open, so... To Shah, also, you might be able to untap a Search for Escanter and then loop again. So there might be some extra value in there. Tashar Ancestor's Apostle. 4 mana for a 2/2 flyer. Whenever you cast a historic spell, return target creature card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Converted mana cost 3 in white. I'm not sure what that hits, but might see some play, I suppose. Yeah, I'm not sure on that one. I'm sure there's some good 3 mana cost creatures that you probably want back. Warchief, probably not playable until you get more goblins. There ain't enough in this set at the moment. Bolus's Clutches. I like stealing creatures. I'm up for that. Ariel, Knight of Windgrace. So if you remember the dude who made loads of knights as well, if you don't win, then Ariel is the next best thing with those Menace Knights. Being able to tap X, untap Knights, and then destroy a creature with power X or less, you just be able to wipe their board clear pretty easily. And she's got Vigilance as well, which does allow her to swing in before she does that. So she's going to be kind of like the knight version of Vona, I would say, who is also a knight. Should be worth mentioning. 181. Okay, we're getting there. Rare wildcard, very nice. After that, Merfolk Trickster. I think this could probably see play in a Merfolk list. Enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls, it loses all abilities until the end of the turn, and has flash. Yeah, it could see play. Torgar, Famine Incarnate. 8 mana for a 7/6. Well, at least it's got the body, kind of. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may sacrifice any number of creatures. This spell costs 2 less to cast for each creature sacrificed this way. So it can be as cheap as a 2 mana 7/6. What does it otherwise do, though? When it enters the battlefield, up to one target player's life total becomes half their starting life total, rounded down. No. No, probably not. Not up for that. Let's see. Quende, Bride of Femerith. Double strike. Creatures you control with first strike have double strike. There's a lot of first striking creatures in this set and in this format, so pretty solid stuff. Not to mention you could give first strike to a lot of stuff as well. Our rare is Zahid, Djinn of the Lamp. I've not seen you before. 6 mana for a 5/6 with flying. You may pay 4 mana and tap an untapped artifact you control rather than pay this mana cost. So realistically, if you're playing this card, it's a 4 mana flying 5/6. Is that good enough just to be a vanilla above curve 4-drop flyer? I'm not sure on that one. Draft, maybe. There's a lot of artifacts as well that don't tap for anything as well, so maybe it's worthwhile. I don't know. Moving on. And we have Mishra's Self-Replicator. 5 mana for a 2/2. Whenever you cast a historic spell, you may pay 1. If you do, create a token that's a copy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Build around card. Is it a good one? No, probably not. But if you get this and Power Shards, you could probably generate a lot of mana and probably up to do some very serious self-replicating. And then if you have the Antiquities of War as well, turning them all into 5/5s, might be a bit of a push, especially the fact that it's 5 mana. You're going to have to cheapen that down, but there are a few cards in this set that make historic spells cheaper, so you could probably make that happen. I think we could maybe build something around this. Will it be good? Probably not, but we'll see what we can do. Sell the score, very nice. Our rare is Tempest Djinn. Pretty nice, to be honest, in a mono blue deck. Even in a double coloured deck, to be honest. There's a lot of dual lands that have island attached to them, but oh no, it's basic island. Yeah, maybe not. It's pretty good in draft, but other than that, I don't think so. Gotta power through this. Howling Golem. I don't know why this card exists. I really don't. When it attacks or blocks, each player draws a card. Why does this card exist? I just don't know. It's a really weird mill card, I guess. Our rare is Haphazard Bombardment. I think this is unplayable, right? 6 mana. When it enters the battlefield, choose 4 non-enchantment permanents you don't control and put an item counter on them. At the beginning of your end step, put 2... If 2 or more permanents you don't control have a name counter on them, destroy one of those permanents. So yeah, you essentially target 4 permanents and only 3 of them die. No. Not gonna happen. Also, what's not gonna happen is this being a one-part thing. Joyra, Weatherlight Captain. Very nice, actually. Whenever you cast a historic spell, draw a card. I can definitely build around this, and I probably will have a playset over to build a historic deck. Build loads of mana rocks and things like that, so you can keep spending that kind of thing, and then Antiquities of War for the win con. Pretty sweet. There's probably some more applications for her, but I'm not thinking about them just yet. Another Ariel, very nice. We've now hit our second... Halfway through our packs, essentially, and we've hit our second Vault progress. Not too bad. Yargle is a meme. Pretty playable colourless land, I suppose. As long as you're not too in on any specific double colours or anything like that, you probably want to play this. Sulphur Falls, very nice. After that, there's Valduk, Keeper of the Flame. Mentioned him earlier. 3 mana for a 3/2. At the beginning of combat under your turn, for each aura and equipment attached to Valduk of the Flame, create a 3/1 red elemental creature token with trample and haste. Exile those tokens at the beginning of the next end step. So, yeah, aura and equipment sub-theme is kind of quite strong in this one. By strong, I don't necessarily mean the archetype is strong. I just mean that they've put actually a fair few cards in here that'll help out with this a little bit. And another demand. I think we're all close to a playset of those, actually, which I'm kind of happy for. We haven't seen any Khans or any Teferis, though, which is what I'm really looking for. Narrowmere. It really wants me to make wizards, apparently. Wizard Panamonicon. Let's go. Avad, Triumph of Gerard. Kamal's Druidic Vow. 2 and X. Legendary sorcery, so you cannot cast it unless you have a legendary creature or planeswalker in play. Look at the top X cards of your library. You may put any number of land cards or legendary permanents from among them onto the battlefield. You need to have... For this to work, you need to have a lot of mana. So either going down the Power Shard route, or going down maybe the Gaia's Cradle route with what's it called? I can't remember the name of it. The 3 mana green enchantment that flips if you have creatures in play. So we could do maybe something around that. But yeah, you could maybe like pay X, where X is the most of your deck, and then just play like several thousand Super Friends or something like that. I'd be up for trying that out. Warcry Phoenix. 4 mana for a 2/2 flying haste. Whenever you attack with 3 or more creatures, you may pay 3. If you do, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield, attacking. Really good draft card. Definitely. Is it playable in Standard? Maybe? Maybe. It's a little too expensive to get down in Red Deck Wins, I think. A 4 mana 2/2 flyer is really hard to get down, but if you could get into the graveyard somehow early. Like, if you maybe went off with the Minotaur, who discards a card, the 4/3, maybe dumped him then on 2, and then on 3 you've got 3 creatures, hopefully. You get the Warcry Phoenix out. That seems a bit of a stretch, to be honest. And too many of you, you're not that playable. I think we've been doing quite poorly on rares, to be perfectly honest. Squee, the Immortal, very annoying in draft. Not sure he's very playable in Standard, unless you need some sack fodder, I guess. Fire Fist Adept, are you one of the wizards that I have to worry about? When it enters the battlefield, it deals X damage to target creature an opponent controls, where X is the number of wizards you control. Probably not. Maybe a late game stuff. He's dabbing on the haters. Fair enough. There's the wizards that you got to worry about. So this is Wizard Prowess, dude. Or dudette. 3 mana for a 2/2 flying haste, and whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, like the wizard lightning bolts and things like that, all of your wizards get +1/+1. So wizards in red and blue, I think, is very playable in Standard right now, and certainly playable in Arena, so I'm certainly going to try that out. And rare wildcards, not too bad. Corrosive Ooze. Blocks are... no, unplayable. Shayna's Torment. Chapters 1 and 2 for 4 mana, deals 2 damage to each opponent and you gain 2 life, and then you make an XX Black Horror token where X is half your life total, rounded up, deals X damage to you. Ugh. Ugh. I don't know about that one. That seems so risky. And another Torgar. Another Quende, and... nope, nothing else. Blackforge. Yeah. Yeah, our rares haven't been the best, but there's Joyra's Familiar. That's the historic lord, if you want to call it that. Mythic rare, very nice. We're up to 4 mythics, 4 rares, 17 uncommons, and 17 commons, so I could probably get a playset of whatever I want easily enough and be okay. 238% on that one. think everything else is relatively unplayable. Although green in Stompy maybe. 4 mana for a 4/4 is reasonable, but then you can kick it later on and then it comes out as a 7/7. Yeah, it's not too bad. Certainly draftable. And now we're getting to the point now where we're dusting a lot of cards as well. Our rare is Karn's Temporal Sundering. I'm not sure what the payoff for an extra turn is in Standard right now. 6 mana to take an extra turn, and then you exile it. Return up to 1 target non-land permanent to its owner's hand as well. It could be our opponent's stuff as well, so we don't necessarily have to bounce our own stuff. Yeah, I'm not sure what could make this any better than a 6 mana Explorer in Standard right now. I'm not sure on that one. I'll have to think about that. Certainly playable if I can think of something. Wizard's Lightning Bolt, very nice. Moving on, we got Traxos again. Dauntless Bodyguard, pretty decent in blue-white auras, and maybe even in Knights as well, if you've got one worth saving. Fungal Plots we've talked about. And we got the playset of Evra's. Whoop-de-frickin-do. Yeah, I'm getting pretty unlucky on these pack openings, I would say. I think we could do so much better. Another Josu Vess. Okay, 2 of them's pretty nice. Board the Weatherlight, very nice. Settle the score, pretty good. Ahaha! One of the most expensive cards in Dominaria. History of Benalia. 3 mana for a Saga. Chapters 1 and 2 creates a 2/2 a white knight creature token with Vigilance. So in 2 turns, it's essentially created you 4 power for 3 mana, which is already pretty good. And then knights you control get +2/+1, so it anthems them out as well. So you really just build up with this card. It's not even legendary as well, so these can stack. It's disgustingly good. And let's see. Another Ariel. Sure. I think we're making knights at some point. I think that's what these packs are telling me. Are you any good? You're supposed to be good, aren't you? 8 mana for an 8/8 with Kicker. When it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, return all creatures to their owner's hand, except for Merfolk, Krakens, Leviathans, Octopuses, and Serpents. There used to be a 4 mana version of you without the 8/8 involved. And before that, there was a 6/6 involved. 6 converted mana cost version. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Dampening Spear, absolutely god tier modern card. Don't know if it necessarily has any place in Standard, unfortunately. A rare, Lich's Mastery. Nice to see a second one of those. Whisper, Blood Liturgist. 4 mana for a 2/2. Sack 2 creatures. Return a creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. I don't know if any creature is really worth that effort, but I don't know. We'll have to see on that one. Mono Black is certainly a thing that they're trying to push in this set, so who knows. Helm of the Host. Oh yeah, this card is awesome. 4 mana for an artifact with Equip 5. Very expensive, but I think the payoff is worth it. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a token that's a copy of equipped creature, except the token is not legendary if equipped creature is legendary. So you can essentially copy all of the legendary creatures you want for as long as you want. It's like Jace's ultimate effect in a weird way. Those tokens gain haste as well, so there's a lot of things you can stick this on that are really good, like rats. And I think you can stick them on the 4 one that gives you an extra combat stamp. His name's on the tip of my tongue as usual. God. But yeah, you can copy those at the beginning of combat, and I think, does that allow you to go infinite in combat steps? It might do. I'm not quite sure. Anyway. Powerstone Shard, very nice. Counterspell, rare wildcard, pretty good. And Gitu Lava Runner, one of the wizards from the wizard deck as well. As long as there are 2 or more instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard, it gets +1 at +0 and haste. So it becomes a 2/2 with haste pretty easily as well, which is pretty good. It's probably going to take a little bit more to get it going initially, but I think you still run a playset of those in blue-red wizards all the same. Nature's Spiral finally got the playset, same for Syncope. Our rare is another Squee, fair enough. We're really like losing out on all of our rares here. Thankfully, I have lots of mythics and rare cards anyway. Those rares are going to go on on dual lands most likely, but we'll see. Mythic rare, very nice. Love it. Can't get enough of your wild cards, babe. And we're at 281 on the vault progress. So if we opened this 2.5 times, I think, in that time. Should also note that that's a lot of wild cards as well that we're not counting just yet, but very nice stuff. Keep going. Another slime foot. Isolated Chapel, very nice. Saving me some rare wild cards. Juggernaut. Ugh. Rare is another Joda. Ugh. Everything else is a bit meh. This is like a tiny Augury Owl. Oh. But for historic spells. Wrath. You are very playable, aren't you? 4 mana for a 3/3 with flash and flying. You may cast historic spells as though they had flash. So you can flash in planeswalkers essentially to protect them at the very least. Sagas as well. I think they actually, the way sagas work is as the counter gets placed on them, which is as you play them. I could be wrong about that. Then their effect goes off, so maybe you could flash in some sagas. I'm not sure on that one. Divest is our new discard card. Reveals from their hand an artifact or a creature card. Might be playable in this format with red deck wins being the way that it is. Another History of Benalia. Nice. Love a playset of them as well. Let's see. Fire with Fire. Pretty good in draft, I guess. It's pretty top end, but... The First Eruption. 3 mana for a saga. First Eruption deals 1 damage to each creature without flying. The second adds 2 mana, and the third sacrifices a mountain. If you do, it deals 3 damage to each creature. Meh, I think is the answer to that one. Unless you can find a way of sticking counters on it to get it towards that board wipe, I don't think so. I think we've got another Isolated Chapel. Look at that. I'm starting to memorize the sounds. Radiant Lightning. 3 damage to target player and 1 damage to each creature that player controls. Alright, goodbye tokens in this format. It's the same with Goblin Chain Whirler as well. It's pretty much just killed the idea of having 1/1 tokens. Third Josu Vess. Meh. Where's my Teferis? I haven't opened any of them. Tatvoya, now I can build around you. 5 mana for a 3/3. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life and draw a card. There's a lot of mill your entire deck and then bring all land cards out of your graveyard. In fact, I think there's a Merfolk that does that as well, funnily enough. So maybe there's some fun shenanigans to be had there. You may have Thorn Elemental assign its combat damage as though it weren't blocked. That seems pretty draft amazing. Don't know if it's playable, but in standard that is. Keep it going. There's his tome. We got Sulphur Falls, very nice. After that, I don't know if the sound's continuing because this is another Sulphur Falls. Hey, Oath of Teferi, that's number 2. I want 3 at least, I think. Maybe, I don't know. We can do fine with just 2, but 3 I think is a sweet spot. It's another land underneath. We have the Clifftop Retreat. I really do like the art of these cards as well. I'm so glad to have them back as well. On Sarah's Wings, stick it on a Yargle and win. Good. Let's see. Another Marwyn. Yeah. We're getting to the point now. You may notice at this point we're kind of running all of our commons into the vault at this point. So I think it seems like the 90 packs is about enough to actually get... Yeah, look at the state of that. All of those commons just got dusted. So I guess by the end of this 90 pack thing, we should have maybe a playset of most cards from the format in common. Probably 2 to 3 of every uncommon. Maybe 1 to 2 of every rare. And maybe 1 of every mythic, hopefully. I'm still missing out on my Teferi, but I got the wild cards for it. We're up to 5 mythics, 6 rares, 25 uncommons, 25 commons, so... Yeah. I think filling the vault's going to be really easy from here on out. 6 mana for Harambe. Let's see, 5/5 with kicker 3. If it was kicked, it enters with 5+1/+1 counters on it. Okay. Right, when it attacks alone, double its power and toughness until the end of the turn. It has a weird exalted. Fair enough. A rare. Shall I? Voice of Plenty. I think we jumped over this one, actually. This is pretty solid for protecting your board state as well. You planeswalkers you control and other creatures you control have hexproof. It pretty much makes it so that she demands an answer. And she's already got this 6-mana Anthem effect as well to put counters on each creature you control. I think she's going to be disgustingly good in a few decks. I don't know how much play she's going to see, but certainly Angel Tribal. We've not actually managed to get the Mythic Angel, but being able to protect her, essentially. There's Baneslayer Angel in Standard, for those who don't know. Under a different name. Another Rona, very nice. Knight of Grace, very nice. Two-headed Giant, very, very meh, I believe. When it attacks, flip 2 coins. If both coins come up heads, it gains double strike. If both come up tails, it gains menace. If neither of those things happen, it's a 4/4 for 4. Well. Halar the Fire Fletcher. 3 mana for a 3/3 with trample. Whenever you cast a spell, if that spell was kicked, so kick a tribal, okay. Put a 1/1 counter on it, and then it deals damage equal to the number of counters on it to each opponent. I don't think you'd want to put this in a kicker tribal deck. I think you would want to put this in a counter deck that happens to have the kickers in it. So essentially you'd put as many counters on this as possible. So in Standard you want your Verdurous Gear Hulk to stick all the counters on it, and then just kick a spell straight afterwards. That's pretty sweet. Is that Gear Hulk adding 5 counters, is that right? So that's like 5 extra damage to each opponent. Yes, it's okay. I don't know. I think it's a bit too much of effort to get it to work, to be perfectly honest. Another Land of War Elves, very nice. It's the one common I do want to play a set of, and we don't. Let's see, a rare wildcard, very nice. Getting towards the end of these now, and the end of the video. Sulphur Falls, nice. We have Howling Golem, Board Weatherlight, very nice. And definitely the playset of Tolarian Scholar is what you want. The flavor text is on point. The ability that this card has is god tier. Mythic rare, very nice. Well, I'm definitely getting all 4 of my Teferis, with some mythics left over, it seems. Another Tashar. Yeah, still not sure how to build around her. We'll see. We'll get there, though, I tell you now. Spore Swarm. Yep, Sapling Tribal is a thing, but will get killed by Goblin Chain Whirler and a lot of other stuff. Rare wildcard, very nice. Let's see, nothing too crazy there. Another Sylvan Awakening. I think maybe you want 2 of these max in a green deck, just because it's going to be one of those things where it just wins you the game, but you don't need it until late game. Like, very late game, and even then, if they're against white, you don't want to see this card, because you don't want to run your lands into a Settle the Wreckage. That would suck. Untamed Kavu. Yeah, again, I think this is another one where it's pretty decent in draft, it's pretty good on 2, and then it's good on 5 as well. I like these kick and gain counters equal to the amount of kick kind of things, where it's good in 2 different parts of your deck. I do like that. Ah, third History of Benalia. Very nice. Hope for a playset of those. Apparently just straight up opened our Evra because it's dusted it. Good. That's the 5th copy. Very nice. Next. Knight of Grace. Okay. Wow. How many mythics are in this set? You're not giving me the good ones. Okay. Antiquities of War. Definitely happy to see another one of those. Time of Ice. 4 mana for a Saga. Target creature an opponent controls. It doesn't untap during its control's untap step for as long as you control Time of Ice. So for the next 2 turns following this, it stays tapped down. That's pretty good to buy some time. And then on the 3rd chapter, return all tapped creatures to their owner's hands. Is there a way to flash in something that taps all creatures? Now, I know there's a Merfolk that taps all creatures. Is it a wizard? Because I think there's a way to flash in wizards. So this could be like a board wipe. I think it's a bit too much work to make it happen, and you might as well just like wipe the board at that point, but still. Kazarov, ugh. 5 more packs to go after this. Garner, Chainer's Torment. Kamal's Druidic Val, very nice. Is Kamal in this set? I don't know. I don't think he is. Now then, that's the Isolated Chapel. 3rd of 4 actually, so really nice. Getting a dual land is always good, to be honest, because that's what arena players really need, to be perfectly honest. As sad as it sounds, it's kind of what you want. Tashar, okay, it's the 3rd, I believe. Oh, that sounded exciting. Alright, so in addition to some pretty decent wild cards, we also got Verix Bladewing. 4 mana for a 4/4 flyer with kicker 3, and it's legendary. When it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, create a Karok's Bladewing. Oh, like its brother, I guess. With a token with flying. So for a 7 mana, you get 8 powers worth of flying on 2 body. That's okay. I wonder if there's a deck where you'd want Anointed Procession to double those tokens down. Or an ETB effect as well, maybe with Panamonicon. Something like that, who knows. Moving on. Second to last pack. This video has gone on quite some time, and we got our 5th aerial as well. Most of this pack actually just got dusted as well, so it seems to me that every pack that you get from 90 packs onwards, and I'm trying to think how long that's going to take free to play wise. I think that's maybe like 2 to 3 months of daily grinding for your pack, which for the record has now changed as well. You can get a pack a day now, which is much better than the old system. But yeah, I think after 2 to 3 months you'll start dusting the entire playset, which, yeah, we're almost to our 4th Vault progress, which is pretty good. Final pack. Let's see, Befuddle, Fungal Infection, Honor Guard, Blessings of Bells and Lock. Looks kind of cool. Target creature gets +2/+1 until the end of the turn. If it's legendary, also gains lifelink. It's okay, I suppose. Let's not think about it too hard. And the final is a rare wildcard. So at the end of that, after 90 packs, we got 6 mythic rares, 9 rares, 31 uncommons, and 30 commons. I wish I could go through the collection to show you specifically the mythics that we got. But it might be a little bit difficult since you can't actually sort by Dominaria. I would have liked some Lyra Dawnbringers. Didn't get any of them, unfortunately, but 6 mythic rares. I think those are going towards maybe Teferis or something like that. We got 3 of the 4 History of Benalia, so as far as pretty good pulls are concerned, this is probably one of the best, and having 3 of them is pretty sweet as well. What else did we get? 3 Naru Maya Master Wizards. Mono Blue Wizards is definitely a thing that I can make now. We missed out on Phyrexian Scriptures. It's kind of playable, actually. There's a sweet little combo between this card and another one that I'm going to probably get to soon. I think it's in rares, but yeah. We didn't get any Demon Lord Bells and Locks, but I don't think he's that great. I think he's a good Brawl card, but I don't think he's good in Combat Celebrants, that guy, the 4-1 that was on about earlier. I don't think he's good in Standard all that much. 6 mana for a 6/6 Flying Trample. I suppose it is pretty threatening. When it's about field, exile top card of your library. This is the thing. Exile the top card of your library until you exile a non-land card, put that into your hand. If its converted mana cost was 4 or greater, repeat it, and it deals 1 damage to you for each card put into your hand this way. Yeah, this could be all over the place. But as far as a Brawl deck's concerned, you could probably build around this and make quite a fun deck. What else? We got a Bladewing. Missed out on our Chandras. I didn't even know Chandra was in Dominaria, to be honest. But there you go. Who knew? Multani. I think he's good in Draft. I don't know if he's good in Standard. It's pretty okay, I suppose. I think most Mythics are going to be pretty okay. Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. That's the card I wanted. I'm going to get myself a few of those, I think. I wanted a few more Joyras as well, actually, but... yeah, we kind of got the wrong mythics. Don't disregard. I think I got very unlucky in my openings. But all the same, I think I managed to get a pretty decent collection. I would go through the commons, but there are just so many in this format that it would take forever just to look through it. But I do hope you guys have enjoyed this video anyway. It ran on a lot longer than I thought. I probably stalled on a few cards, maybe a bit longer than I did. But I know a lot of you guys don't actually know many of the cards, and to be honest, neither do I for the most part. So it was nice going through all of these cards with you guys. Tomorrow, I guess we'll go back through and we'll do maybe 2 more with Rivals of Ixalan and Ixalan, and then we'll do Hour of Devastation Armenket as a 3rd video. Since the 90 did take us so long, although we're very familiar with all of these packs, so probably those videos won't be as long as this one. But anyway, if you did enjoy the video, then be sure to like and subscribe. Share the video if you want to check it out. Oh yes, before we go, we actually got 400% of vault progress, so in addition to the mythics and rares that we maybe missed out on, I actually got to open this 4 times as well. So you get 1 mythic, 2 rares, 3 uncommons, and I get to do that 4 times, so it's pretty sweet. Very happy with that. I can do a lot with this. Can I build a tier 1 deck with the cards that I've got? I think I probably could. I don't think I could do maybe a very mythic heavy deck, but I think I could get close. So if anyone's wondering if you could actually make a tier 1 deck from the 90 packs that you get from Dominaria, I would say yes. And I think most of you would get more lucky than I did, to be perfectly honest. I got very unlucky with my non-wildcard pulls, so yeah. At the end of this, after 90, we got 10 mythic rares, 17 rares, 43 uncommons and 30 commons. There is certainly no chance in hell that there is an uncommon or a common that I can't get if I want it at this point, so yeah. Anyway, like, subscribe, hit that little bell icon, you know all that jazz, and we'll be back tomorrow for some more openings. Alright guys, see you in a bit.